I know of a teacher who bribed her students with full-size candy bars. All they had to do to earn their candy bar was completely behave for a class period. The thing is, the class period happened to be the day of her professional evaluation. I know of another teacher who bribed her students with 100% on a test score if they just filled out a worksheet and it took the entire period to do so and they didn't ask any questions. And once again, this was for her professional evaluation. To make it even worse, the worksheet was a professional development survey printed off of pbs.com. Nothing to do with what the students were doing. Such behavior is very unbecoming of a teacher. It's very unprofessional, and I can't condone it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't judge those teachers for the things that they've done, but it's bad. And yet, I've fooled my administrator too. And I'd like to share with you how and tell you why you should do the same thing. You see, to fool my administrator, I put on a total dog and pony show. And it was the worst kind of math lesson. It was one where students were learning some procedure without any connection. It was all about answer getting. It was deplorable. It's embarrassingly bad. I think you should do the same exact lesson. In just a minute, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how you turn that whole thing on its head. But before I do, let me explain to you why I gave that lesson. See, I needed some professional capital. My high school was an improvement by the state. So the principal was replaced, and they put a new principal in there and a whole bunch of new administrators. And the reason our school was in such a situation was because of their math scores. But my math scores for my students were solid. Thing is, nobody knew that. And I wanted to be left alone so I could teach. So I put on this dog and pony show where I taught the students how to square numbers close to 100 in their head very quick. I had them racing each other on calculators. To somebody on the outside looking in, it was fantastic. Now, what an administrator saw, they saw fantastic content and language objectives. I mean, those things were punchy, exactly what the kids were doing. They saw kids actively engaged, talking, discussing. They saw the kids following steps and writing notes. They saw the kids having fun and being excited about math. But the thing is, it's not very practical, number one. Number two, it's just about answer getting. Number three, it's a procedure they didn't understand. There was no math involved, just a simple calculation. This is exactly what you shouldn't do when you're teaching. Now you might say, well, wait a minute. Kids were having fun. Well, I say it wasn't math, and second, math is fun. If you do math in class, it is fun for the same reason games are fun. They're challenging. You get to work with people. You get to solve things. You get to figure things out. It's very fulfilling. So let me show you the lesson that I used that fooled the administration into thinking that I was teaching a great lesson when in fact I was teaching a terrible lesson. So here it is. What the students are going to do is learn how to square numbers close to 100 in their head. There's actually a really good mathematical reason for why this works. It has to do with multiplying binomials together. And I would suggest using that instead of just this, but check it out. So 105 squared. This is what I taught. This is what you teach the students. 5 times 2 is 10. So add 10 to 100 and you get 110. And then at the end, you take that number and you square it and you add it. Well, 5 squared is 25. So 105 squared is 11025. Done. Another example, 107. 107 squared. So 7 times 2 is 14. So that's 114. 7 squared is 49. Right there at the end, 11449. Now what about a number that's a little less than 100? Like 96 I got back here. 96 is 4 less. Twice of 4 is 8. 100 minus 8, 92. 4 squared though. 4 squared is 16, so it's 9216. I'll put a link in the description for a PowerPoint that has all this in it, and it'll show you how to do stuff that's like 112 squared, 120 squared, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the lesson itself, the way it was taught, is totally worthless because students are not going to recall how to do this. And even if they did, how often does it come up that they need to know how to square a number close to 100 in their head, lickety-split? Not often. How do you turn it around? How do you make this worth the while of the students? How do you make this into a powerful mathematical experience for the students? Well, it takes a day. See, the following day, after this, you explain to the students that what they did was, well, they were trained like puppies. They didn't actually learn anything. They didn't understand anything. They were trained how to do something. And if they're going to be trained on how to do something every single day for the entire school year, that's 180 things they're going to have to remember. 180 distinct, non-connected things that they got to keep up here and straight. The upshot is, because they were engaged and they were involved and they were challenging and working together, that was fun. They got it. Their involvement and their willingness to participate is what's going to make the class powerful and fun or not. My job is to give them meaningful experiences. This one wasn't meaningful. Beyond that, this is a really good way to get students involved at the very beginning of the year doing something with a whole class. And so even though the math itself is really weak, it's not even math, it's calculation, it's a trick, at least the way it's taught here. It still is a way to get students doing something together as a class. It establishes the expectation that, hey, we're here to learn and that we're going to be successful and we're going to be fun. So more than likely, your administration won't know what good math teaching is and what good math teaching is not. And that's okay. If they're there to help you and push you along and challenge you to be a better teacher, it doesn't matter if they know how to teach math or not. Teaching like this, teaching tricks and procedures is very low quality. But it has its place. First day of school, not so bad. Anyway, I hope this video caused you to stop and think about what good math teaching is and what good math teaching is not. And I hope that you will seek ways to develop conceptual understanding in your students. I hope that you see that this, while maybe it is fun for the kids, it's no good. They will not recall this. And I challenge you to try this. It's a great activity, as it's taught here, for the first day of school. It really is. However, you ask them a question about this 2 weeks after the fact, no way they're going to get it right. If you found this video to be of any use, entertainment, whatever, you could help me out. All you got to do is click like, subscribe to my channel maybe, and visit my website, thebeardedmathman.com. Thanks for watching. Here's maybe something a little bit more meaty, mathematically speaking, about squaring a number close to 100. 105 squared, well, that'd be 100 plus 5 times 100 plus 5. So multiplying these two binomials together, 100 times 100, 10,000. 100 times 5 is 500. 5 times 100 is 500. 5 and 5 is 25. See, in the previous example where you add the two 5s together, twice of 5 is 10, well, that's where it comes from. And there's the 25, comes from this times this. Anyway, you can make it a little better, but maybe that's something that your class could handle on the first day of school. Maybe not. Either way, thanks for watching.